And we should be live. Hi, everyone. Thanks from Mrs. Naked Sean for telling us that we're late. And it's really great to have Dave or Singing Toad here. So
my fault while we're late.
It wasn't his at all. It's just me talking too much. I do that given the chance. As always, I've got my two favorite regulars, Randy's WSG and Naked Sean. So
we're not live.
Are we not? It says live. No. We should be live.
Yeah, I see us live.
We're live.
We should be live.
You have to refresh it.
Yeah, we're live.
Are we live? Hi everyone. Can somebody give me a thumbs up or just remind us that we're live? Having been non-live for 30 minutes previously, it's good to know that we're running.
Here. Okay. We're there. I think we're there.
We're there. Okay, that's good. Thanks. Oh, thanks, Sean. You're panicking me. So I didn't want to do what we did to poor Terry and making him talk for an extra half an hour. So a quick just look, see who's in the chat. So hi, Mrs. Naked Sean. Great to have you here. Tony from Wales. That's excellent. I can see Randy's there too, which is great. And Sean. Good to have Chirk here. Hopefully I've said his name right. If I haven't, we're gonna have to get him on the show in a couple of weeks' time. So we can all practice the pronunciation before then. And good to have, I think I saw Nigel there as well. Great, Nigel. Great to have you here. That's good. Who else? Is that most people? Kathleen. Good to have Kathleen here as well. And Ron Crow. Hi, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Great to have you here. That's great. Are we getting echo? I don't know who that's from. I can't hear echo. Is somebody getting an echo there?
Getting an echo. I have feedback though.
I'm not getting an echo. I'm not getting an echo.
Okay. Thanks, Jerk. I've done better than Thrift. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Right, yeah, better than Thrifty. That's he had a good go at Loughborough. Actually, I threw him a really horrible town in the UK to pronounce on his show, and it's Loughborough, and he did quite a good job. So, and Scotty, great to have you here as well, Scotty. So, we're going to follow the normal sort of thing. We'll start with a pocket check. Then we'll have a look to see what beverage people are drinking, because this is MB's beer. Well, sorry, gear and beer, or it could be beer and gear. I start off with a beer as well. So, but let's just do the pocket check first. So, as you're our guest, Dave, what are you carrying today?
Okay. Well, I'll start with the flashlight. So I'm carrying. See if I can come a little closer to the. I don't know if you can see that or not. This is the Olight i3T EOS, and it is in the blue, which is my favorite color. I really never used to be a person who carried flashlights until, I don't know, I want to say 6 months ago now I started carrying this thing. And this thing is super useful. It saves the battery on your phone, so you're not using the light on your phone. But it's just more handy. It's just, and I like the fact that it's got a clip. I can actually just clip it right to my hat here, and that's good. If I'm out in the woods or on the river or something, it makes it nice and easy for tying lures on at dusk. So that's the flashlight, and the knife that I've been carrying for the past week or so, actually month, I should say, is this Benchmade Mini Griptilian, and this has the kind of like the sheep's foot style blade, or I don't know what style they call that, but it's got the hole, the Spidey hole. So if Spyderco was to ever design a Benchmade knife, this is what it would look like. And it's in S90V. The camera's probably not picking that up, but it does say S90V right there, which this steel just holds an edge forever. I mean, I've only sharpened this thing once, and it's still like hair popping sharp. And of course, it has the axis lock, and it's got the whatchamacallit here, carbon fiber scales.
Yeah. So,
and now I do have the pivot tightened a little bit on it, so I can't flick it in and out like some people they can do the old Benchmade flicky thing. I've deliberately got the pivot tightened a little bit, just because the laws here in Canada are not good with flick knives.
Okay. Okay.
So if an officer was to take this and, if he could flick it out, that's considered a gravity knife, a flick knife, and that's a serious fine here in Canada. So I've got the pip tightened down a little bit
I thought things were tough. I thought things were tough in the UK, but that sounds more
We've got some wonky laws with, like, we don't really have any restrictions over the size of knife. Like I could walk around carrying my Buck 124 all day if I wanted to. That's not a problem. But the thing is, it's more the action of the knife. Yeah. That's what they demonize. Okay. What else am I carrying here? I also have the Victorinox Spirit X.
The right multi-tool. I like Victorinox. I'm not a huge Leatherman fan. So
this gets carried. I also have a Leatherman Charge TTI, which is actually just sitting over there. That I use that one more for work. But this one here, because it's thinner and slimmer, it doesn't like bang into things as much and catch on stuff when I go around corners. It doesn't stick out as much and stab me in the side as much when I sit in the seat of my car. The Leatherman's it's like literally twice as thick and bulky. Where this is just thinner and I don't know. This thing is just like, I've had this, I don't know, a number of years now, and it's still like tight. Like nothing's loosened up on it whatsoever. It's just really good quality, and it's made of whatever the steel is, and it doesn't rust. And the blade on it isn't anything to write home about, but the nice thing is I do have, an auxiliary reserve blade, and it's locking. So I don't ever have to worry about it, folding shut on my fingers while I'm using it, Yeah. So that's the multi-tool. Obviously I carry the phone. This is a brand, oops, I keep going off camera here. This is a Samsung S24, which is fairly new to me. I've only had it about a month now. Then I got my wallet, and I'm not going to go through what's in there, but as you can see, it's a thick boy.
It is a thick one, that one.
It's a thick boy. It's well used. It was actually a wedding gift. I've had this since 2008. So,
wow, that's good.
And what else do I have? Oh, another thing I've been carrying around with me, my Singing Toad Zippo that I got from JC Mountain and Jar.
Yeah.
Brother JC sent this up to me, and that is super cool. And, as Terry would say, a man's got to have fire. So there we go. And last but not least, what I've also been carrying is this Wenger 17 that was a gift from Slipjoint Sawyer.
And he just happens to be in the chat. Where is he? Slippy. Where's the Wenger?
It's right here, Slippy. It's right here. And it's actually replaced my actually, let me go grab my other one, because so this is the Victorinox Super Tinker, which is what I was carrying. This has been my loyal companion for years now, and I've actually replaced it with this one. Because this thing is just super cool. And I've never had a Wenger before, so it's just so awesome that I finally have one.
I still haven't got one yet. I'll have to get one at some point. So brilliant. Thanks, Dave. Thanks.
So I think that about concludes my TED Talk. Thank you for coming out.
Thank you. Your Toad Talk. Yeah.
Toad Talk. Here we go. If I can give a quick honorable mention, I have Jim's Jedi Knives. His wife made this really cool singing toad mascot for me.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And it's in my two favorite colors, blue, which is my favorite color, yellow is my wife's favorite color. And I don't know how well you can see it there, but it's got a Canadian flag with a little musical note as a flag. So that's super cool. Mrs. Jedi Jim Knives made that. And then, of course, Mo the Kirby Creek, maybe this super cool tree spirit.
Amazing, yeah.
With the toad on top, the totem, as we're calling it. And so this is my logo. For those who don't know, the character in my logo. Actually, where is my logo? Sorry, I'm taking a little too much time here.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
But the character in my logo has a name, and his name is Atreyu, which is the character out of the Never-Ending Story, which was one of my favorite childhood movie.
Okay.
So,
because I always assumed it was Mr. Toad from Beatrix Potter.
No. That works too, but yeah, he was named. I named him after Atreyu from the character from the movie, and so I named this guy Atreyu. This is made of a tree, and then this guy's just going to be called Atreyu because he's the toad. So there we go. So those are the channel mascots. which were gifts from the community, which I'm super thankful for.
Oh, that's cool. We have a great community. Thanks, Dave. Great carry as well. Sean, should we go to you? What are you carrying today?
Yeah, sure. So I've been home all day, so haven't had very much in my pockets. My main carry has been a case tracker.
Oh, very nice.
Have you just picked one just to upset Randy with the yellow dowring? Is that?
Yeah, sorry, Randy. I didn't really even think about that. This was one that I picked up last year at the Sharp Show here in the UK. 2016 model in CV, but had a bit of cardboard slice up today, so it did the trick.
Perfect.
And then a Vic Sportsman. Which is a nice little 84mm carry. I can get it open, that is. It's not playing. I seem to, yeah. Anyway, let's just have a look at these.
It's cool.
Yep. So got the corkscrew and the eyeglass screwdriver, and the reason I'm struggling to open it is because there is a pin which is a non-standard pin with a red bead on the end, and it's tangled into the screwdriver rather inconveniently.
So you need a screwdriver to push it back in. That's
yeah, I'll just tap it in, it will come in. But yeah. So yeah, I've not really had very much else in my pockets today.
okay. That's good. Thanks, Sean. That's great. And Randy, what have you got?
I still have the Viper 8 pouch with the compact in it, but I'm carrying a Bantam. This was a gift I got the other day from Eric Starr, and it's you have to slow roll it, but it's super sharp. It's super slicey.
Oof. Yeah.
Yep. It's a nice USA made. It's a fantastic knife. Feels comfortable in the hand.
Dang,
and then,
that's sharp.
as my traditional, I'm carrying a copper lock or a mini copper lock. I'm going to be sending this off to Mikey. So I figured I'll hang on to it for a little bit. I know it's sacrilege, but I put a thumb set on it so I can open it one-handed. But he asked me to take it off. But yeah, I'm not carrying a whole lot today, though.
Cool. That's it. Right. Thanks, Randy.
Hank. My Hank for Halloween.
Cool. Great Hank. Yeah. I'm just carrying this. This is my October carry, which was part of Hunting for Hookers challenge for five items. I think I've got 5. So I've got the Taylor's Eyewitness, and so it's a nice sheep's foot, freshly sharpened, and I've been using this quite a lot. So this was the one that Randy said when I did my September challenge and I cheated by having a Swiss Army knife. I said to Randy I'd carry a traditional for all of October, so this is it, and I really like it. It's nice to hold. I think it's a carbon steel blade. It doesn't.
I think it's a 1070.
So I'm a bit careful with it. I haven't got many Tinas on it yet. I've got the Olight pen, and just like Dave, I've got the i3T EOS there.
Right on.
And it's just great. And then I've been working on my keyring, my keychain carry. So what I've added recently, and I've just got a video about it. I've just added a classic SD ALOX, and I'm normally quite strict on what I put on my keychain, and this is probably about as much as I can. Still got the Gerber shard, of course, So anyway, that's my carry today. So fairly minimal. Just while the camera's on me, and then we go to everybody else. So my beer of the evening is this Hazelwood Porter. So it's 4.5%, and it's pretty dark actually. It's a bit darker than a Guinness, but it drinks. It's less bitter than a Guinness. So I'm really enjoying sipping that. So going over to Dave, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight I have Land Shark Lager.
And is that a local Canadian brew, or?
They're in Kitchener, Ontario, which is about 2 hours away from me, from where I live. So I wouldn't quite call them local per se, but I mean they're within Ontario. But Ontario is a really big place.
That's quite local for Canada, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, within, I'd say within a couple hours, there's it would be considered local, I guess. But yeah, it's one of my favorites, and it's a very lovely craft beer. And cheers to everyone watching.
Excellent. Yeah. Cheers. And so, Sean, what are you drinking today?
So today, I've got a Trooper, an Iron Maiden. Where is it?
Brilliant.
4.7%. Not had one before. This is my first sip, so cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Thanks, Sean. And Randy, what have you got?
Got just a Corona. I hadn't had one in a while. It's 4.6% and about a pint and 8 ounces.
Is it actually brewed in Mexico?
Yeah.
The ones that we get in the UK, they're brewed locally, so they're not.
Yeah, some of the Mexican beers here are like brewed in New York or something, but no, this one's from Mexico. So it's authentic. I got the lime.
Oh, perfect.
Got the old Budweiser cup.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
I remember those old commercials.
I know we don't have beer commercials on UK TV anymore because of the nanny state, and the beer commercials used to be some of the best ones. So I'm just gonna have a quick look in the chat just to see who else has joined. Oh geez, quite a few people. So I'm not used to having so many people here. This is great. So we've got Terry from Terry's Leatherworks, and Big E. No, that wasn't Big E. Big E, the knife nut, which is great. Yeah, Chuck. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought your colours, Dave, are the same colours as the Ukrainian flag, aren't they? So on your toad. So the blue and yellow looks very Ukrainian. So
well, maybe he is a Ukrainian supporter. I don't know.
That's one in Putin's eye. Yeah, that's
a trio can be whatever he wants to be.
Chuck is already thinking that Sean's been on the gym, which he probably has. Kathleen. Now, Kathleen, I noticed that you asked that question in Slippy and Thrifty's show, and I think that, if I answer first and then we'll ask the other guys, see what they think. I think the reason is that the back tool fillets, I never find that great. It's okay in a pinch, but I prefer the corkscrew because you can put things into the corkscrew like the mini tools, or a fire starter. Plus the corkscrew is good for getting into knots and those sorts of things. There we are. So Randy's got is that the
screwdriver,
the Tinder as well? Yeah.
This one.
And you can have the fire ant, can't you? Yeah. So Dave, are you a corkscrew or a Phillips guy for your
yes.
Swiss Army knives? So either, yeah. Sean, yeah. And Sean, do you have a view on this? About
all are welcome to the Singing Toad.
Yeah. Do you have a preference, Sean? Yeah.
I like both. I tend to carry the mini eyeglass screwdriver in the corkscrew, which, being a glasses wearer, is useful for me.
100%.
Yeah, and also, like you said, I think the inline Phillips works better in terms of being able to get into sort of tighter spots than the back Phillips. Although I do, I do carry Tinkers and various other models, which
if people haven't seen it, this is the inline screwdriver that you have on the Explorer.
So that looks like an Explorer.
Yeah, it's just so much better than the back tool. Phillips.
I agree. That is the better option. I actually had an Explorer.
The problem is it's not on many models.
Yeah.
So you can, although that's an old one, isn't it, Sean? That's not the sort of the rounded one.
This one I've got here it's a rounded one.
Ah, it is rounded. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So hopefully that answered your question, Kathleen, or not, as the case may be. Just checking down. So we've got Byron. Thanks for popping in. It's getting a bit late in the UK for cutting grass. I think I've just got to do it one more time. And a quick check down. Hector, great to have you here with us. Are the boatsmen? I don't think I know the boatsmen. So anybody else familiar with that, but haven't seen that? Byron's doing the 1 and 5 challenge. So great to see the things you've got there. I don't think I know all of those, but they look cool. Hopefully you've done a video, Byron. I'll have to go watch it. I'm a bit behind with videos. And Hector was saying about the fire ant. Yeah, Felix Imler is my hero. I think Felix. No offense to Dave or any of the other guests that I've had on. Felix would be my Grail guest to come on this show.
You do mine too.
when I get a few more under my belt, I'm gonna try to befriend Felix and get him onto the show. That would be awesome. Great. So, yeah. So Felix is just the king of Swiss Army knife stuff, and I can't say enough about that. Right. So it's about you, Dave, this week, as you're here as our guest.
Well, thank
you. What was your first knife? So the one that started all of this.
Before I answer that question, I did forget to mention the ABV on this because I noticed all you guys did that. This is 4.6.
Oh, that's a good drinkable level. I mean, Randy tends to go for some really high ones.
Oh, I rather have 4.6.
Yeah, that's good. So that's what we'd call a session ale. You know, you can have 2 or 3 of them.
And you're not worried about getting a splitting headache or anything like that from it. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, back in the day, I used to drink a lot of IPAs that were like really high ABV. They're like 8, 9, some of them even like 13%. But I can't do those anymore. I just can't.
I still like those. Maybe a 7%, but I only have one. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Now, Tony from Blade in Wales. He is another one of my Grail guests. Actually, he's like the Scarlet Pimpernel. He's elusive. He doesn't have his own channel, but he occasionally does a video just for the Discord group. And I would love to get Tony on the chat. So having met him in person, it would be great to have him here so other people can see some of his collection. And anyway, Dave, sorry, we got off target. So what was your first knife?
So my first knife, I actually have it, which is right here. This was the first knife that my father gave me. This is a Bass Anglers Association, a commemorative type knife. And what it is stamped on the blade, and I highly doubt the camera's going to pick this up. Yeah, no, it's not. But it is stamped Imperial Ireland. So I'm assuming the blade is actually at least made in Ireland. I don't know what the entire knife is, but it is a little wee lockback, as you can see right there. And the handle scales are some type of plastic material. And there used to be a lot more blade to this knife, but this was the knife that I kind of learned how to sharpen on. Well, I say learn how to sharpen. More like randomly grinded it on a rock until it was somewhat sharp. So, but yeah, so this was my first knife, and I've had this ever since. I was a very young boy at the time. I forget exactly how old I was, but my dad took me aside one day on a fishing trip and presented this to me and said, you're old enough that I can trust you with a knife now. And so, but the second first knife, if that makes any sense. The first knife that was a name brand knife that most people would recognize. That was the first kind of knife that kind of got me into the whole collecting of knife thing. Was this right here, and anyone who's watched my channel knows this knife. It's been on my videos many, many, many times. But this is the Buck 119 Special, and this is in the world's greatest steel 420 HC. I can't say that with a straight face. Although if Tom was watching right now, Tom from Knife Delights, he'd agree with that. But this is the original, and I've had this since I was 16 years old, and it's seen a lot of hunting, fishing, and camping trips. And I've done everything with this knife. I've pretended I was Rambo running through the bush with it, and all kinds of things. But that one I've kind of put away. I don't really use this one anymore because it's kind of like a heritage piece now. It'd be something that I passed down to one of my boys, and it's just out of frame here. I have its replacement. This is the Buck 119 Special Pro, and you can probably hear my cat meowing in the background.
I can hear a cat somewhere. I wasn't sure. I don't have a cat, but I guessed it was somebody's cat. Yeah,
he's behind me here. Who wants to go outside? But this is the Pro Series by Buck, and this is in the S35 VN with the micarta handle skill. They now make this in a Magna Cut. If the Magna Cut was available when I bought this thing, I would have got the Magna Cut version. But S35 VN is still a great steel, and with Buck's heat treatment, it may as well be Wolverine's adamantium as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
So that answers that question, I hope.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'm in awe of anybody who still has their first penknife, because I owned and lost a whole load of penknives when I was in my teens and pre-teens. This is a cat. Oh, cool. I still think a great channel would be cats and knives. Maybe not cats with knives, but cat. Anyway, that's cool. And so, Dave, what channels did you watch before you decided to have your own channel? What sort of things would you watch?
Oh, that's a great question. So I was mostly into. I've always been into knives, and I've watched. Funny thing is, some of the channels that I used to watch and sub to, I'm not sub to anymore, and I don't really watch anymore. So I'm going to not name those ones because I have my reasons. But the bigger channels that I kind of was into was a lot of gaming channels, and my original concept for my channel was going to be a gaming channel, and we'll talk about that later on. But I would say a lot of car channels like Jay Leno's Garage. I've been watching him since before he was actually on YouTube. Doug DeMiro, another car reviewer. A lot of boating channels. I'm into yachts and boats. So like Aquaholic, for example, he's a big yachting channel. Goodness, actually, I have my subscription list right here. I can pull that up if I can get my thing to work for me here. And let's see here. What else can I tell you? Advanced Knife Bro, Cedric Gear and Outdoors, Pete down there in Australia. The list goes on, Kentucky Ballistics, Demolition Ranch. I even follow like Cowboy Kent Rollins. Like, these are all channels that I watched long before I ever got into YouTube. So
yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And then what made you decide to start your own channel, and why did you pick sort of knives and EDC?
That's a good question, to tell you the truth. Basically, I've always had a passion for knives, and I think there was some other knife channels smaller ones that I kind of started watching. And I thought, if they can do it, I can do it. Now, one great inspiration for me that I forgot to mention is the cutlery lover. Is a fellow by the name of Jeff Smith, who's on YouTube. He's been on YouTube a long time, and I actually started following him when he was more into silver collecting. That's actually the very first video I ever watched of his was silver collecting, because that's something I do too. It's another hobby of mine. But when he was doing knife reviews, he's just a down-to-earth guy. He just presents knives, he just sits in front of a camera and just talks, and then he does these story time videos. He's kind of funny, and I thought, that's kind of what I model myself after, like that's just the way I am, just a down-to-earth guy. I just talk about my passion. I don't consider myself a knife reviewer. I think there's in fact the fellows in this video here are better at being a knife reviewer than I am. So
certainly not me. My knife reviews suck. I don't get many views, and I understand why, because I don't think I have the sort of the passion for it. So I always try and take a slightly different angle.
But I'd definitely like to branch out more though, and get more into the gear side of things, and also into the wilderness. Like there's many times when I'm out like hunting or fishing or whatever, I think I should just turn the camera on and film some of this. But I'm in the moment, and I just don't think to do it. I'm enjoying just the river and watching my float drift by and that trout hook up with me, and I'm I'm not thinking I should pull the camera out and record this and start talking, giving commentary.
It's interesting, because I think it's good to be in the moment, because a few of us from the Discord group met up last weekend, and all we have to show for that, I think, are 2 photographs, no video footage, but we just enjoyed each other's company and looking at each other's knives. Well, I mean, mainly their knives. I don't have many, but it was just nice enjoying that. I think if we'd have been trying to film it or do a lot of footage, it would have spoiled it a bit. Maybe at a later one, maybe not. So everything okay there, Dave? Sorry,
my wife just screamed from across the room. I think a spider may have just fallen on her.
I'm quite lucky, because and one of the reasons I chose this time is because most of my family are in bed now. So I get the kids to bed early, get them sorted out. My daughter's probably watching her TV, or she should have switched it off about now. And then so it's much easier. So just before we go back to the other guys then, Dave. So your sort of knife collection, what's your main sort of passion with knives? Do you have particular makers that you really like?
I would say I used to. I mean, I used to be really into buck and like Spyderco and Benchmade, but since I kind of got embraced by this wonderful community and my eyes opened up to traditional knives and many brands that I've never even heard of before, what I've been doing more than anything is just trying to collect knives of different manufacturers that I've never heard of or never owned. Kind of like, obviously I can't collect them all, but try to get at least one of everything. And so, I don't know, like, I guess now for me, collecting is more just, if I like it, I buy it. And, it's kind of funny, actually, if I can go back to, like, when I first started getting into knives as a young teenage boy, I would just buy a knife because I thought it looked cool. Like I'd watch Rambo, or I'd watch a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and I'd go to the flea market, and I'd pick up some knife that, was total, mall ninja thing. It was made of stamped out steel that would fall apart the first time you actually tried to use it. And I didn't know anything about blade steels, heat treatments, any of that stuff. Then as I got educated and started following some knife channels and learning about all this sort of stuff, I started like collecting, brand names and looking for certain steels and where the knife was made. And I actually kind of turned into a bit of a knife snob and a steel snob. And now I've kind of gone back to, it's gone full circle. I just buy a knife because I think it looks cool. And I don't care what steel it's made from or where it's made or whatever,
So have you got one of your recent purchases nearby?
A recent purchase would be, I guess so. I mean, I just the most recent thing is this Groman Canadian belt knife kit.
Oh, cool.
So I think some of you may have seen my channel or not. I did do a video where I talked about this on a Thankful Thursday, I think it was. But it's right now, it's literally just a box of parts. So there's the knife itself, and the handle scales are not attached, and it comes with hardware to put it all together. But basically, that's been my most recent knife purchase, I guess.
That's a great idea, just to get people starting to make knives.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, this it does come with instructions, and you do need some skill, but you don't have to be like a master knife maker. But what I'm going to be doing with it is I've got this just over here. If I can grab it out, I've got this piece of G10.
Right.
So it's blue and black, and I've already traced out the handle scales, and so I'm going to be cutting those scales out, and I'm going to be shaping those, and I'm going to be putting this on instead of the rosewood scales, because I already have a Canadian belt knife, which is right here, and so that one already has the rosewood scales, so I don't need two of the same.
Can we just see it a bit? Can we see the blade, Dave? Yeah, that's an interesting blade shape.
This is one of those knives that looks weird, but when you hold it in your hand, it just melts in your hand. Like it just, it's a weird thing, Sean's got one. Right on.
Hang on, Sean. Let's put that up, because Sean and Randy have been really good. So show us it, Sean.
So this isn't a Groman. I've always wanted a Groman, but this is a USA made. It's a Murphy. You're probably not going to be able to see the etching there.
Just about, yeah.
I've had this, oh God, 17 years or so. There used to be somebody in the UK, I forget the company now, that stocked them. But it's very, very similar take on the Groman. And
it's a really interesting handle, isn't it?
Like Dave said, they look uncomfortable until you got it in your hand, and then it all kind of makes sense. It's a great shape for a sort of just camp knife, utility knife. Yeah,
that's cool.
That's a very, very cool knife.
And Randy, did you have one? You seem to have a knife in your hand, yeah?
The closest I have is the CRKT. What is it called? Akari. That's the closest thing I have.
Oh, you've shown that before. I really like the look of that.
It
sort of reminds me of sort of like a butterfly chrysalis. That sort of handle. It's got an odd.
It does have that look to it, yeah.
Yeah. I won't embarrass myself. The only fixed blades I have are really cheap ones, like a Mora, a Holter Force, and a Fisker. So I won't bother getting those out. It's one of the things. We have the UK blade show, sort of Sharp Show, coming up in about 4 weeks now. So I think my target then is to buy a fixed blade. Although I did press the button on a brother knife from AliExpress, which I'm hoping, I saw some of Mikey's last weekend. So I'm hoping that they're going to be okay. And then just to show, let me just get it back to this. Just to show my knife purchases for this week. And I don't buy knives every week, but I think it was Tony that, let me get it around the right way. It was Tony or somebody that panicked me last week and said that they were going to stop doing these floral knives.
Oh.
So I've got the sheep's foot and the pruner blade, and haven't opened them yet, but I'll do a review on them later. But I wanted to make sure I didn't miss out, because it's really annoying when Victorinox discontinue stuff.
Yeah, they're cracking knives, Mark.
Yeah, I bought one. I think it was the pruner. Yeah, and they're nice and thin and slicey, chisel grind, I think, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
I think I bought one of those for my daughter-in-law because she does a lot of gardening. So, they're cool. Just a quick look in the chat just to see. It's been going pretty quick, so apologies if I've missed anybody. Let me just see where we got to. So, yeah. So Hector was just asking Randy and Singing Toad where they're from. So Randy, you're from?
I'm in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Yeah.
So the
and
south.
Dave, sorry, got.
Oh,
No.
yeah. So you can let Randy finish. I'm in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah. And Sean and I are from the UK. Sean's from the land of the webbed feet, out in Lincolnshire, and I'm a softy southerner from.
Honorary Toad.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so I'm originally from the south of England, so I'm a softy southerner, but I'm now in the Midlands. I've sort of moved up. I'm not quite sure what beer 30 is.
The answer is yes, Andrew.
Okay. Right.
It is beer 30, Andrew. Absolutely.
Okay. What does that mean then, Dave? Is that
Time for a beer.
It's time for a beer.
Beer o'clock.
Beer o'clock. Yeah, beer 30.
Okay. Yeah. Cheers, Andrew. Good to have you here. Just checking down. So yeah, great to have Baxter's Blades or Andrew there. And we'll have to get Andrew on the show. I saw him on Slippy and Thrifty's show and thinking I need to send some invitations out. As I've said before, for any channel owners, for any people with channels, so who would like to come on the show, drop me a message either in the Discord or on one of my videos, or you can find me on Instagram, and then we'll schedule you in. I've not been very good at scheduling, but I will get better at this. So great to have Cheeto in the house as well. So that's brilliant.
Cheeto Bandito.
Hey, Cheeto.
Good to have Stuart here as well. So I think he's making fun of your Canadian a boot.
No do to boot it. It's all the bear and a boot.
Great, and Radar as well. So great to have you pop in. That's good. And everybody's welcome here. Good to have Sean from Watch City Knives as well. And I think Nigel's got the same idea, because I think it always seems to be a lot easier with folding knives. I think you have a better idea about what they're going to be like when you see pictures, but I think a fixed blade, you've really got to feel it in your hand to see if it's going to work well. So geez, there's been a lot of chat. Tony's saying, where's Mikey and Elan? So yeah, I don't know where Elan is. I'm surprised Mrs. C isn't here looking for him. She's normally tracking him down. But Randy, as ever, is the great moderator. Thank you, Randy. So just drop me a note on Insta, and it's always good to catch up on that. So back to the questioning of Dave here. So out of all of these channels you watched, you decided on knives, yeah, and sort of EDC stuff, sort of for now.
Yeah,
so,
I think it's because I also had a fairly extensive collection at that time, and it's grown way beyond that since. So I just had, I think my very first knife related video on my channel was just showing my collection, which is a super cringy video. If you I'm actually gonna ask that you don't watch it, but if you were to go all the way back in my history, 4 years ago, and see my very first knife video, was me laying a bunch of knives out on a, I think it was a dish towel or something stupid like that. It's pretty cringeworthy. And the funny thing is, a lot of those knives that are in that video I don't even have anymore. I've traded or given them away. I'm always giving away knives. I give the shirt off my back to someone to help them out. So it's just what I do.
But, that's good.
But yeah, that I guess just knives was just kind of I gravitated towards that, because I think at that time I was watching a lot of knife content. I was watching a lot of different knife channels, and there's some really good ones out there. And I've mentioned a few, but I could sit here I'm subscribed to 230 different channels right now, so I could just sit here for 15 minutes and name them off if you wanted to. but there's a lot of content, and that's what inspired me, and I've made a lot of good friends along the way.
Yeah.
Looks like Elon's joined us.
He's like Beetlejuice. I think we just needed to say his name a couple of times. Hey Elon, great to have you in the chat. I put my pup to bed, so rather than it sort of start barking.
Hey.
How rude, Elan! How rude! But I think Dave can take it, or he wouldn't have worn that T-shirt. So that's great.
Someone asked me in the comments what that word means in Canadian. I can't say that on this channel without being banned.
Okay. I mean, I think we're not too bad. I think as long as there's a few words that'd be nice if we avoid, because I'd probably put this up to monetize, not this. But yeah, I think because the other thing I was thinking is that as my channel is a knife and EDC channel as yours are, I always put not for kids. So, and to be honest, my kids know most of the words anyway, so it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, I mean, does it mean the same as in the UK, as well as obviously testicles? But it normally just means bullshit. Is that?
Yeah, it's basically it.
Or bull crap if you're being sensitive. But
BS essentially.
BS.
Here in Canada, a lot of our language is originated in the UK. That's Canada was mainly set up by the early settlers here, were British, of course, British colonists. Almost turned into Sean Connery there. Colonists.
Gosh.
I must ask you a question, but I'm shaving it for later. So we had a lot of Scottish immigrants, and I'm actually of Scottish descent. And I thought it'd be really funny to wear my Scotland hat with the Bollock shirt today. See if anyone put those two things together. Half my family comes from Inverness, Scotland, and the other half comes from a little place, a dot on the map that's about an hour north of Helsinki, Finland. And I can't pronounce the name of the town because it's like 15 syllables long. But that's basically my family heritage. But a lot of Canadians are a mixture of European something or other.
Yes.
Whether it be French, British, whatever. So a lot of our language shares a lot of common words that are in British slang, winds up being over here. And like my wife's parents, for example, are from Manchester, England. So every time I spend time with them, there's a lot of language that they say that I pick up on. And when I watch British stuff, it's like, I get what they're saying.
Yeah.
There's some times when I'm watching all the guys in the UK talk, and I'm like, or in the Discord, I'm like, I have no idea what they're talking about.
yeah. In the Discord, there are quite a few British references to TV stuff, but
I'm learning. I learned about a tosser. Wanker.
I think we should do a show just on those sorts of things. I think that's okay because I think Phil Collins said it on Miami Vice a long time ago when it wouldn't have been. Well, it just wasn't on UK TV, but so yeah, it's always interesting. So so you've had your channel a while now, Dave. What have been some of your challenges about having a YouTube channel?
That's a good question. Challenges, I would say, is just not just my channel not really growing, or growing at a very, very, very slow rate, and I'm not exactly sure why my channel doesn't grow at a rate that it should. I get people all the time say, I get people leave nice comments say, I don't understand why you don't have so many more subscribers. I'm like, I'm with you. I'm asking that question too. I definitely, people know who I am. I get lots of shout outs. The community seems to appreciate me, which I very, very much love and am thankful for. But it just seems like my channel just doesn't grow, or well, it grows, but at a very, very slow rate. I guess slow and steady is better than going backwards. It's not a race. Let's
be
like,
careful here, because that can happen too. Because sometimes YouTube has a purge on channels for people that either haven't watched your channel or people that haven't been on YouTube much. So you can drop sometimes 10, 20, 30 subscribers. I haven't had it for a while, but I had it before. And I think it's really difficult, because I know we've had some chats in Discord about it, and I've had some periods that have been really, where it's felt like I've just been standing still, and then I've hit on a lucky video. So I don't think I'm anything special at all in the way I bumble through my videos or lives or most things really. But I've just been lucky with about 4 videos that have got 80% of my views, subscribers, and I wish I knew why they went well, because if I knew that, I would do them every time, just to do well. But I think it's hard, and I think when you see somebody who's got a lot of subscribers and gets a lot of views on their videos, I think they probably make it look easy, and there's more to it than that. And I think it's a bit like fishing, isn't it? It's just like throwing out the bait and seeing what bites. And some people are better fishermen, some people are it's a bit harder, or we haven't quite got it yet.
Well, that's why it's called fishing and not catching.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I think YouTube's a bit like that. As a creator, you put stuff together, and you have ideas for videos, and some work and some don't. Sean, jump.
Can we show some knives, please?
Yes. Let's show some more knives. It's not so. Randy, what have you got?
So this is kind of what Dave was saying about buying knives you like. And my mom, she buys me knives that she likes and she thinks I would like. And they're not always the most expensive knife, which is fine with me. And I love that she buys them for me. She got this one. It looks like a gas station knife, but it's a Boker. You get the Grim Reaper.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
And it's assisted opening. Made in Germany, apparently. Get in there.
Let me just put, that's.
Here, I'll try it again. You can see that now.
Yeah.
Made in Germany.
Yep.
Really, so it feels good to hand. So, if it just had jimping, it'd be perfect. But it flies out. It's killer, which is great. I had another gas station knife I had to get rid of. Actually, over the past couple of weeks, I've gotten rid of at least 30 knives.
and that fits in really well with your Halloween challenge as well, Randy. Yeah.
And then I guess just while you have me up, I think you guys will like this. This is the custom from Eric's store, made from
wow, yeah.
Well, and
I saw your review on that, Randy, and I remember seeing it in the Discord group. I'm just
look at that bead. He made the micarta bead. If I can get that up there.
That's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Here's this shield. I got to show that.
That's fantastic.
It fits perfect in the hand. Got the jimping, so you can grab it here, or you have a nice big finger choil. It feels perfect. Like this. Like what?
And I love that you can see is it from a rasp or
from a horse
farrier's rasp.
Yeah. I love the way he's left it around, you can still see what it's come from.
And it looks like there's even file work, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it's just
That's
the file.
so cool.
Yeah.
Eric did a fantastic job. He is truly, truly, truly talented. I hope he makes more and sells these. I don't know how.
Definitely.
It's like I said, it's a working man's knife, but it's a super classy knife.
That's awesome. It's awesome.
He could probably sell it for a couple $100 easily.
easily, I think, and I'm sure a lot of that man hours went into that to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Life. It's just insane how talented he is. He made some. Let me show a bead real quick. He made some beads out of rebar.
They are really cool.
Yeah.
That is such a cool idea.
Yeah. It's perfect. I got it's like a gray and red.
And excuse my ignorance, but is rebar hollow, or did he have to drill it?
Solid. Drill it out.
Wow.
He's super talented. He made them out of bone. He made a smooth bone, jig bone, another micarta bead like this one for Elon.
Yeah.
And just beautiful stuff. He's so talented.
Yeah.
I told him he started showing stuff on Instagram finally. But,
good.
If he started selling stuff, he'd probably quit his make those. Just fantastic.
I missed the vote in Discord. I mean, yeah, I would give it a lot of 10s. I think if it was, yeah. And Sean, have you got? It
was more about.
Hang on,
Second, Mark.
Yeah. Have you got something to show us, Sean?
Well, I've always got something to show you, but just going back to Elon's comment, Eric, when he was designing the knife, he sort of asked for people's input about what we thought he should do or shouldn't do. Should he make it this way, that way, or whatever? But I mean, he's doing an absolutely fantastic job. It really is a piece of art. Really, it's fantastic. I love it. Absolutely. I will show a knife. I don't have that many fixed blades really, but this is an old one, and I think it's my only cold steel. It's the Master Hunter in Carbon V.
Oh, that's nice.
And this thing is it's a sort of beast of a knife, really. For the size, it's actually what size blade is it?
It looks about 4 millimeters, is it?
4.5 inches long.
All right. Yeah.
And it is about 4 mil thick, yeah, something like that. 3/16 or whatever, I don't know.
I can't do imperial for small amounts. I end up being decimal inches, which doesn't make any sense to me at all. But that's a cracking one.
Nicely shaped Creighton handle. It's a working tool, really, something to sort of get the job done. Something that'll take a bit of abuse. Watch City's saying small and thick like me. I'm sure you're not thick, sure. You can't be with a name like that.
So we've got a question from Sean as well. So he's tried to join the Discord, but it always says invalid.
Right now, if I can.
I'm sure Randy will pop a link up.
Yeah, so I'm sure Randy put a link up. If not Sean, then try to contact Slippy, either through one of his videos or and Slippy sort of, well, it's his Discord group. So I just have a look in the chat. So yeah, Tony was saying a Farrier's rasp. Nigel saying he's just got 2 fixed blades, a Castrom Safari and a Joe Smalley Knives Terrier. I don't know either of those, Nigel. I'm sure these guys will know. Here's Randy. Randy's put the link up. So what's that you've got, Sean?
So this is a Bark River Aurora.
I thought that was a Bark River.
I think it's in A2, this one. Now, again, it's an oldie. Had this one a long time.
Is that convex ground?
It is indeed, yeah.
Yeah. Those are nice.
Nice leather sheath as well, with the loop for the fire steel. Yeah, this one I've had this. God, must be 16 years at least, something like that.
Yeah, it looks like a good bushcraft knife. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And going back to what we were talking earlier about first knives, this wasn't a first knife, but it was an early knife, and this was stainless china.
Nice.
A book rip-off, I guess.
Yeah.
But this was from one of my grandmas.
Yeah.
I got this when I was in my teens.
Yeah, I guess that a bit like Victorinox and Swiss Army knives, that they become almost generic in the way they're sort of copied, don't they? And I guess those Buck locking knives are very similar like that.
Yeah, I mean it's not a good knife, really. The steel's not great. It's the build quality is not great, but it's got sentimental attachments to me because it was a gift from one of my grands.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Hang on, Dave has one.
That's the real McCoy. That's the Buck 110.
Oh, yeah.
And it's interesting, Sean, because that knife that you showed, my father gave me a knife that looked just a lot like the one you had. It was a Chinese-made knife. It was stamped with the brand name World Famous, and it actually says on the blade. Well, you can barely read it now because it's so worn, but it says on the blade "camping," just the word "camping." But the brand is World Famous, but it looks just like the one that you showed. So I imagine back in like the 80s, maybe 70s. When everyone and their brother was cloning this knife, there's probably many Chinese manufacturers that were making that stuff, exactly what you're holding right there, and different brands being stamped on it and sold under many different brands. Yeah, when you hold a real Buck knife 110 in your hand, and then you hold one of the Chinese clones, there's no comparison. I mean, like you can tell right away that they don't even feel the same. They're not the same weight, not the same thickness. You know, the blade steel on them is made of some steel that was a bunch of melted down school buses. You know, like the pots and pans. But you know, I mean, not that Buck's 420 is anything to write home about, but their heat treat makes the big difference. You know, and I mentioned a channel earlier. Pete from Cedric and Ada Gear and Outdoors. He does a whole bunch of like rope cutting tests, and he has like a catalog of all the cuts that he's done. And Buck's 420 actually performed fairly good. You know, like it was like in the same range as like VG10. You know, and that's considered a good steel. So you can say what you want about 420, but if you heat treat it correctly, it'll hold an edge. You know, just saying.
And you can cut through a bolt with it as well, can't you? Because
apparently that's what they used to do back in the day. I don't think I'd want to try that with any of my Buck knives.
So I just have a quick look. It's great to have Mrs. C in the chat. I did see her there somewhere. Where's she gone? Anyway, it's great to have Mrs. C here. Always good to have you here. Just looking down as well, there was somebody else. So NFK20, great to have you here too. I don't know if I've missed anybody.
Rich.
We've got a question here as well. So want Sean to tell us about the canoe? Do you know which canoe they mean, Sean?
I don't. Oh, is it the one that... You're not talking about this one up here, are they?
Is it the one behind you, yeah?
No.
Is that the one?
I'll find a canoe.
It could be. What is that then?
So that was it's done like a vehicle license plate, and it was brought back from Canada by my stepdaughter a couple of years ago or so. She travels all over. She works on one of these massive super yachts and lives a hell of a lifestyle.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. She was out there
Randy's
skiing.
getting out.
Yeah.
And Randy's getting out a proper canoe, Randy, yeah?
Just a Rough Rider.
Perfect.
This is my first canoe, and it made me fall in love.
I think that's one of those patterns that I want to get, because Chirk was carrying one for all of September, and he had this beautiful blue canoe. So I really like the look of that.
That was the Rough Rider Mule, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're good knives.
Good to have True Budget as well. And great to have you here. Hang on, Dave. Let me just spotlight you, yeah? So
I just thought I would show my one and only canoe. This is a Rough Rider. This is the carbon steel series.
Oh yeah, good series.
So this one here, they're probably not showing it very well, but unfortunately, I don't have very good lighting here. But this blade has a little bit of patina developing on it, where this one has no patina, and that's been done on purpose because this blade I've been oiling and this blade I have not. So if you oil a carbon steel blade, it won't rust or patina, and if you just let it go, it'll start to patina. And
I think Slippy coats his in mustard or something, because his seemed to patina really quickly. But I'm probably doing him a disservice.
I think it's cutting a bit of hot steak will give a good patina on a carbon steel blade.
Steak is perfect.
Since Slippy's on his keto diet, I think he's eating a lot of meat.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the T10 carbon on those Rough Riders is damn good still, really, for the price.
It sure is.
Not to be sniffed at. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. It's another brand. I think a bit like you, Dave. I like to get one or two of different brands, and so like I have a Rosecraft, I have a Civivi, I have a CRKT, a Kershaw. So it's quite nice just to have one of each. I don't find many that really take. I don't get the fizz. So I was saying this last weekend. I've probably said it before. A lot of the knife guys, they get the fizz. You know, there's something that they must have it, and the sort of the Alox Swiss Army knives are probably the nearest I have to that. I like the look and feel of these.
I agree with you on that one. The Alox SAKs are they're very lovely.
I don't quite get the fizz. So maybe I will at some point. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be something other than knives. I don't know, but there's still time for that. I was just thinking, as we've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes. Which one's that, Dave?
That's the Farmer X, and I know I know he's got one.
I've got a Farmer X tucked away in here. That was my September carry. This was the only knife I carried for all of September.
He made an excellent video that convinced you to buy one of these.
Did you like it? It was a bit of reverse psychology, and some people didn't watch it all, so they didn't get it.
Yeah.
My fourth reason to not buy one was because it might be the last one you ever buy. Because if I'd have bought that early on, I probably wouldn't have bought half of the Victorinox knives I have, because you don't need to. So I think there are a few knives that are a bit like that. When you've had it, it spoils you a bit. What's that one, Sean?
It's just the standard Farmer.
Okay.
I haven't got the X, but the A-Locks Swiss Army knife's great. You just get that extra blade stock.
Yeah.
Tough
Yeah,
little
they've
knife,
got a
really.
stiffer back spring too, so they're less likely to snap shut on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And the
I
awl,
think
the
they're
inlay
awesome.
awl is
Yeah, it's an inline awl too,
fantastic.
which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going out in the woods, it's a good knife to have with you.
Yep,
Sure.
for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think it sort of punches above its weight for things like that,
Definitely.
with the saw and that's. So yeah, so we've been going for a while. So I think it's time to keep, carry, scrap. Okay. And let me just put this up on the stage so everybody can see this. Yeah. And sorry, I should have shown this first, which would have shown your logo. And I'm sure
that guy?
everybody here is already subbed to Dave Singing Toad. So if not, go and check out his channel. I'm sure you'll like it. Yeah, Sean's a subscriber. He's got the sticker to show it, which is
Thank
great.
you very much, son.
So
At least one of you here is.
I sub and I watched something because I saw you've just got a new Subaru. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I did.
Right.
Yeah.
What that classic car you had, Dave, on Insta today? What's that? That was fantastic.
Oh, that's my buddy Mark. His grandparents own 3 classic cars. They've got 2 Ford Edsels. They've got a 58 and a 60. The one that my buddy brought over was the 60, the Ranger model. And they also have a 53 Mercury pickup with a 3 on the tree. And it's got a flathead V8 in it. But yeah, they're 3 beautiful vehicles that they own. And it was very nice for him to bring that by and show that and take me for a ride in it. I've actually never ridden in it. I've only ever just seen it, but I've never actually gone for a ride in it, which is, I tell you what, being in a car that had no seatbelts was weird.
Well, welcome to life in the 70s.
Kind of felt like a school bus, and the seat was like so huge and comfortable, and it's like I was sitting in my couch driving around in a tank.
Oh, was it one of the sort of the bench seats that goes?
Yeah, and I mean, I had my arm fully extended, and I still couldn't reach my buddy Mark. That's how far away he was in that thing. Like, it's just, car's like 1,000 feet wide, canyon arrow. But it's gorgeous, and they don't build them like that anymore. I tell you what.
No. So keep, carry, scrap. I'm going to show you 3 knives, they're all of one make, so to keep it easier. I think this might have been one of the ones that you were interested in, that you might not be as much now, but hopefully they'll still be good. Now, of these 3 knives, one of them you have to keep. It's in your collection, and it's just put away. You don't carry it. Okay. There's one which is for you to carry, so it's got to be one that you can use. And then there's one to scrap, but obviously, it would be anathema to throw away a knife. So it's one that you would give away. So there's one that you're not allowed to keep. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. So these are the 3 knives. Now I went for Spyderco because I know, and I tried to pick some that I thought that you didn't own. Is that right?
Yeah, I've never owned any of these 3.
Okay, that's good. So that's the first thing, because I mean it's not a big deal. So the first one is the Spyderco Swayback, which I really like the look of. I love the look of that. It's not very Spyderco-like. It is locking as well. And I'm guessing the blade steel is CTS XHP. Does that... I'm not a blade steel person. So
yeah, that's a good steel. Cold Steel actually used to use that. And they replaced it with S35 VN. Actually, I actually have a Cold Steel Recon 1 right here. And that's in the S35 VN, but this knife used to be offered in the XHP many moons ago. So that's a good blade steel. It's a shame they don't use it no more.
Yeah.
But Cold Steel, they're owned under another company now, and who knows what's going to happen with them. But yeah, that's a cool.
That's the first one.
Very
The
cool.
second one is essentially it's a Para 3, but this has the Plage Flytanium stonewashed titanium pandemic scales on it, and the bead. I think when I was looking at this on eBay, I think the bead didn't come with it, but in this case it will do because it's a fantasy thing. So and that's in S45 VN satin blade.
That's a great blade steel as well. I actually don't currently own a knife in that steel, but it's on the list.
And then the third one is this Jot Singh Khalsa with a plain edge. All three are locking, so they're not suitable for the UK. I don't know if you've seen that shape before. I was really interested by the double sort of finger choil there.
That's a new one to me. I've not seen that design before, and it's certainly funky looking. And that's right up Spyderco's alley. They are the. I think the quote goes something like, "It's a knife that's designed for the hand, not for the eye."
Yes.
Is what I can't remember if it was Les. I forget which one it was. It was either Eric or Les that said that.
Yeah. So Dave, do you want to talk us through your thinking on this, and then when we've gone through your choices, we go to Sean and Randy and get their views too.
All right, so keep, carry, and scrap. I would say that for sure the carry would be the Para 3. I'd be carrying that one for sure. I actually have a Para 2 or a PM2, which is where is it here? Here it is. So that's my PM2 right there. And I don't actually own a Para 3, so one of these days I'm going to get a Para 3. But this is a fantastic knife. So yeah, I would definitely go with the Para 3 as my carry piece. As far as just for the collection, I would say the Jot Singh would go in the collection because it is it's such a weird, odd knife, and I do like weird, odd knives. I have some knives that are weird shaped, like this Drake by Kubi. It's kind of a weird shaped knife, and I've got this little CRKT minimalist with the Cthulhu on it. These are just some odd shaped knives that I have. Another one here as an example is this Gerber flat iron. That's also an odd shaped knife. So I'm a fan of odd shaped knives. I don't necessarily carry them, but I just like to have them in my collection. So the Jot Singh would go in the collection. And the one that I think that I would just give away because it's not really doing anything for me would be the Swayback.
I'd volunteer for you to give that to me because I there's something about that sort of Warncliffe shape that I really like. Thanks, Dave. So you're gonna carry the Plage, the Flytanium one, the Para 3, keep the Jot Singh, and then scrap the Swayback. How about you, Sean? Which way would you vote?
Wow, that's difficult. I think I'm probably not too far from Dave. Really, I think I would carry the Para 3 because it's a useful utility blade. Good steel. It's gonna see you through the day easily.
Yeah.
The Jot Singh is a weird looking knife, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Because of that, I would probably keep that because I'm kind of guessing that's going to be the one that's probably worth a few bucks. And give away the Swayback.
Okay. So the same as Dave, yeah. Randy, what's your view?
Great minds think alike, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, we've lost your sound, Randy. Yeah.
You're on mute, Randy. Mute.
Yeah. You're on mute now, yeah? No, we still can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Randy.
Can you tell us through the so one you'll keep number one, yeah. Carry, yeah. Two, you would carry, yeah. And three, you would scrap. Right, okay. Oh, we did quite well there. Well done, Randy. Brought to us just by mime. That's I think I'm with Randy actually, because I would, well, slightly different. I would keep the sway back. Sorry, I would carry the sway back. I would keep the Para 3, and I would unfortunately scrap or give away the Jot Sing. Just because I really like the look of the sway back. That's the whole reason I put it in this. Randy's just popped off. I'm sure he's going to come back, hopefully, with sound. So on the next slide, I've got their value. Well, how much they're being sold for on eBay. You want to see how much somebody thinks they're worth? Hi, Randy. Are you back with sound?
I don't know. Am I?
Yes.
Yay.
Brilliant. Yay.
I just wanted to say, I think that the last one, the Kalsa, I think it looks stupid.
Okay. I think it's probably a user, I think, rather than a... I think I'd want to feel it in my hand before I wrote it off. Well, I have written it off. The one that I thought had your name all over it, Randy, was the middle one.
Yeah. Oh, no, the Para 3 is awesome.
Yeah. And I just thought with the scales, I thought it would suit your Halloween theme perfectly.
I put it in the chat. There's a SMKW has a Halloween Spyderco. It's a Tenacious.
Right.
I thought you picked that at first. So.
Okay, right. So now I'm going to show you how much they're for sale for on eBay. So there's chance to buy them if there's one you like. And
definitely not.
So the swayback was the cheapest, and I think the scales for these alone are pricey. I've seen some that aren't titanium or that are black that were cheaper, but that's a lot more than I think I would ever pay for a knife. Even these ones are making me.
I'll give you $5.
So I think for the people who thought the Jot Sing would be the most expensive, it's the second one. So I don't know what people think about that. So
I think me and Dave did well.
Pardon?
Me and Dave came out well, really, with our choice.
I think you did. Yeah. So I think a few people. So I think Byron said he'd scrap the Kalsa. What does Mrs. C want?
Elan,
right? Okay. So we'll slot you in, Elan. You're welcome anytime, Elan. To be honest, but we'll fix up a time to maybe go through some of your French knives. Or maybe to go through your whole collection, because you have a fixed number of knives, don't you? And then it's one in, one out. Anyway, so let's just see. So Elan, as always, knows. So yeah, it's a Chris Reeve design. I should have said that. And yeah, knife charades. Who'd have thought we could have done this? So the only trouble is when let me come out of this format, because when we're in that format, the comments cover up poor Randy. So I think Tony thought that was the money knife. Not far off, but yeah, it's ugly. So I hope you found that interesting doing that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I wouldn't have guessed on that one knife being 1,100 buckaroonies.
No, it surprised me when I was looking, because I normally look on Amazon and they were looking okay, but a bit samey. I think sometimes when you see a lot of Spydercos together, look very samey. You have to look closely at the steel and the format and things. Talking about Spyderco's, Tony's just going. So thanks, Tony. Give Scooby a walk.
There, Tony.
So back to Spyderco's. So I guess we all have Spyderco's of some sort. So what would be your? Go on then, Randy. You show yours first, and then we'll.
That's my favorite. It's the PM.
Let me just pop you up.
PM3 lightweight.
That's your favorite go-to Spyderco, yeah?
I have two Spyder. I have a PM3, and then I have a PM3 lightweight. If I can find it really quick. Oh, here it is. So this is my regular PM3, copper scales.
That's slick.
They're nice. I like that. I bet they feel nice as well, yeah?
Oh, it's perfect. Feels great in the hand, whether you're up in the choil.
Is it quite heavy, though? Is it quite...
Yeah. Very heavy. This one's super light.
Yeah.
And I keep this one kind of tight.
Yeah.
This is very drop shutty, though. It just opens right up.
Oh, that wouldn't be any good in Canada then. That would be, you'd be 911 or is it 911 to call the cops in Canada?
Yep, that'll work.
Yeah. Well, it works over in the UK now because we have so many Americans coming over, and because Americans didn't know what it was, so you can
999
911 as well as 999. Yeah, that's okay. That's great. Thanks, Randy. So who else has got some Spyderco's to show? Sean, have you got one on hand?
Nice.
This is a good old Tenacious. Just the basic HCR steel. This one's an old one. This was from when they first became available in the UK. So I'm going back a few years.
Yeah.
I don't have very many Spyderco's at all. I have the Grasshopper.
Hang on, I'll get mine. Which it's a nice size, isn't it? I wouldn't want to go smaller than this.
Well, saying that, I've got the Honeybee.
I like that one.
And the Bug. So I bought these three in a set from Heine's. Dirt cheap. A few years ago, mine. I think they were about £10 at the time for the three.
Yeah.
On offer. I mean, this little Bug is more like jewelry than a knife, especially when you've got hands like mine.
I think that's the problem because I think with the Grasshopper, you can get three and a half fingers on there, and it works really well. It's great for slicing fruit and stuff. Really slicing.
I can get 3 fingers on it.
Yeah,
just about.
Mine's 3 and half a pinky. And I find it feels really, really safe. What's that one, Randy?
It's a knockoff of what he has. Just a knockoff, Chinese made.
Okay.
Nothing special.
I thought it might have been one of the. Is it the bird? Or the turns?
No name.
Okay.
Bird ones, but but no, that's just a
Chinese knockoff.
Yeah.
It's nothing good.
Yeah. Sorry, Sean. Did you have any other Spyderco's?
I don't. No, I don't. But what I will do is while we're here, just because I know Dave loves blue,
Oh, that's pretty.
This is a Tony Bowes sail belly single blade.
Oh, that's pretty with that blue
That is
jig bone.
Yeah.
I don't own any case knives currently that are in blue. It's on my list. I've got a long list.
That list never gets shorter, does it?
No. I could buy everything on my list and it'd be full again by the next day, you know?
Yeah. And then Dave, what
And
have you got
also,
some spider codes to hand? Or sorry, Sean. Let's put you back, and then we'll.
Well, I was just going to say, Benchmade. Dave showed one earlier, Reptilian. This again is an old one. With the old Axis lock. Super slick.
Yeah.
I think it's 154, I believe, on this. Yeah, 154. Drop shutty.
I quite
took
like
the
a
pocket
bench
clip off this one.
Yeah. They're quite pricey these
I took
days.
the pocket clip off it.
Yeah.
They are now, yeah. This
Yeah.
was silly money back then. But yeah, took the pocket clip off and lost it. But I know you can get replacements for them. But yeah,
you can probably buy a couple of Rough Riders for the price of a pocket clip, though. So
yeah, but yeah, it's a good little knife. Good worker.
That's cool.
Sorry, Dave. Carry on.
Yeah, Dave. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, thank you for showing that really pretty blue knife. I really enjoyed seeing that. Like I said, I don't currently own any blue case knives, but it's definitely something I want to get because blue's my favorite color, and I tend to just gravitate towards them. But as far as Spydercos are concerned, I thought I would show my grasshopper since everyone else has. So there's that. And then just offhand here, I have the Spyderco Dragonfly. This happens to be the one that's in ZDP 189 blade steel. And it has the British Racing green handle scales, which looks black in the camera, but it is actually green, which I think is
it's a nice size, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's like the world's smallest, biggest knife, you know, because I can actually get all 4 fingers on it with that finger choil. And I know that Tobias Gibson absolutely loves this knife. And to tell you the truth, if I was going to buy this thing again, I just get the regular one in VG10. The ZDP 189 is incredibly difficult to sharpen, and it's very chippy. So, you know, if you get a little chip in the edge, you're going to be all day long sharpening this thing to get that out. As far as my favorite Spyderco knife, actually, I'll get to that in a second. My second favorite Spyderco knife is the NATO 5 lightweight. This one happens to be in Magna Cut steel, which is a super fantastic blade steel. Like, this just does not rust, holds an edge for a very long time, and is relatively easy to sharpen. And I do have a custom,
easy to blunt on a brick.
Yeah, and it does have a custom pocket clip there, which I don't know if the camera will show it there, but there's a little spider right there on it, which looks more like the Spider-Man logo than the Spyderco logo. I'm sure they did that on purpose not to get sued. But my favorite Spyderco knife is my Tenacious. This is the Tenacious lightweight and in blue, which is my favorite color, and this is in S35 VN blade steel, which is probably my favorite blade steel. I've many knives in this blade steel, and I just find it easy to sharpen, holds an edge real good. It's fairly stainless, and yeah, so I just love this knife. It's just a good size for me, fits my hand really, really well, and I also have a custom pocket clip on it as well. This is a Lynch clip. And I know Sean showed a Tenacious earlier. I used to have the regular Tenacious that had the G10 scales in the 8 CR13 MOV, but I wound up giving that to my brother as a gift, and I got this one. The S35 just holds an edge much, much longer than the 8 CR13 MOV, which isn't a bad steel. It just, you know, for me, I just prefer the S35. I do have another Benchmade knife that is like another one of these kind of like Spyderco things with the hole in it. This one's in 20 CV steel, which is also a crazy hard steel. Holds an edge very, very long, and is also a little bit challenging to sharpen. I mean, it's not as hard as, say, ZDP 189 is, but it does take a little bit more effort. Yeah, so that's basically all I want to talk about right there. There is one other knife, though, I did want to show. When you asked me about a recent knife that came in, I don't know how I forgot about this because it's literally right in front of me, but it's a custom knife that I got from Kyle Noseworthy, who is a custom knife maker out in the east coast of Canada. And I don't know if you can see the logo there. The lighting in here is bollocks. But yeah, so it's the blue handle scales with the yellow liners. And this is an 01 tool steel, which is just a fantastic steel.
Good steel.
And it has the forged finish. It isn't all flat, full flat grind. This is called the Bake Apple, is what the model is called, which you can buy on his website. He sells regularly baked apples, but this is fully custom. I reached out to him and told him exactly what I wanted, and this is what he came up with. And the full flat grind is not a standard grind. He usually uses a Scandi grind or a saber.
Yeah.
And but yeah, for a small knife, it still fits nicely in my hand, and yeah, it's just gorgeous, just a gorgeous piece, and I'm very proud to have that.
Really nice.
So that was a recent acquisition, I suppose. And if I could just add one more thing, sorry.
No,
Randy,
it's fine. It's fine.
Randy showed a copper scaled knife. I too have a copper scaled knife, and
Awesome.
this one here was a gift from Edge Obsessed. Morgan sent this over to me, and this is a Concept Copperhead, I think is what they call it, and it's got that hawkbill blade, and it's also an S35 VN blade steel.
Wicked knife.
Yeah,
Wow.
so this thing's
Really
looking, really cool, and it's drop shutty as you just saw there. Yeah, this thing is just. This thing gives me the fizz, I tell you what. And yeah, I like that. This thing's super cool. So and for real, that's all I have to say about that.
I just have one other Spyderco, and it's one I got. It was a second-hand one, and it's, let me get here. It's the UK PK. So I think this is a fairly old one because it's CTS BD1 steel. So it's a fairly basic steel.
BD1's a good steel though.
I really like it. I was carrying it a lot until I did my September challenge, and it didn't quite make the cut because I thought I needed a cap lifter on my knife. That was why, really, so I could open my beer. But I think I can do otherwise. But I really like this, and it's not in the UK, as well as there being some knives that we can't legally carry without good reason. People are a little bit wary of knives. I don't know what it's like in Canada or the US, but this one I can take out in the office and slice fruit with it, and I didn't get anybody raise an eyebrow for it. I just thought it was a nice carry. I really like the way that it's safe. It's not going to close on your fingers because it's got no lock. It's super light. The only thing I'd say is that the wire pocket clip's a bit strong, so I'd like something that clipped into my pocket a bit better. But otherwise, a fantastic knife. So that was my first proper one-hand opening Spyderco. I can never get the grasshopper to open one-handed. I've seen some people do it on videos, but I'm not that dexterous. So I was just looking at the time, and it's getting on a bit, so it's probably time to draw things to a close. Just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who's been in the chat. I think we've called out everybody. Great to have some regulars back. Looks like Tony's popped back in after walking Scooby, which is great. And really good to have such an active chat. So thanks for that. Super big thank you to Dave, Singing Toad, for coming on the show. It's been
thank you for having me.
To find a bit more out about you and some of your reasons for starting a channel and some of those things. And as always, it's great to have Randy and Naked Sean here as well. So they're my regulars. They keep me in check. Sean's there to tell me if we haven't shown a knife for a while, and we've gone on to boring channel chat. So, but it's great to have a real mix. Oh, what's so a last flash of a knife. So, as always,
nice.
so please join the Discord group, and there you'll find Sean and Randy and I hanging out a lot.
I'm on it sometimes.
What's that one, Sean? Oh,
Trying to make out what that is.
Finnish or Norwegian?
Is it Finnish?
I think is it Norway? It says on it.
It's Norwegian, yeah.
Norwegian.
Luco. It's a beast of a knife, but it's
That's quite a big knife, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's probably about 9 inch or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luko is a Finnish word that loosely translates to long knife, and Puko is
9 inches long. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ask me how I measured that.
That's a great looking blade.
That's really cool.
It is a cool blade. So yeah. So I like that finish. So please come and join us in the Discord group. If you are in the Discord group, please ask Sean to start a channel because it would be great. He's got a load of knives and a load of knowledge as well. I'm sure you're sub to Randy already, but if not, please do. And of course, Dave as well. So big thank you to that. Big thank you for the chat. It's been nice to have a chat, share a beer as well.
Cheers.
See a few knives. So cheers, everyone, and have a good evening.
Cheers.
Or afternoon, depending on where you are. So thanks, everyone. And we'll be back again next week. And I'm working on the guest for that. So hopefully we'll get that set up. And have a great rest of the Sunday and a great week following up. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.